Students, in the last class we have learnt about the classification of living organisms and even the contribution of scientists, that is who gave the five kingdoms of classification. The first thing we have to move is the five kingdoms of classification, which was given by Whittaker, are as follows: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, Animalia. The first one, Monera. So they have given, you can see the picture here, bacteria and even anabena. These organisms do not have a defined nucleus organelles, nor do any of them show multicellular body design. So directly we can say these are prokaryotes and not a eukaryotes. These organisms do not have a definite nucleus or organelles, nor do any of them show multicellular body design. On the other hand, they show diversity based on many other characteristics. Some of them have cell walls, while some do not. Of course, having or not having a cell wall has very different effects on the body design here from having or not having a cell wall in multicellular organisms. The mode of nutrition of an organism in this group can either be synthesizing their own food, that is they are autotrophic, or getting it from the environment, that is heterotrophic. This group include bacteria, blue-green algae or cyanobacteria and mycoplasma. The next kingdom we are having Protista. This group includes many kinds of unicellular eukaryotic organisms. Some of these organisms use appendages such as hair-like cilia or whip-like flagella for moving around. So the hair-like flagella which are present here, what happens, or a cilia which are present here, what happens, they are a locomotory organs for the paramecium and even for the euglena. Their mode of nutrition can be autotrophic or even heterotrophic. Examples are unicellular algae, diatoms, and protozoans. Diatoms are mainly found in which one? That is in a sea. That is, diatoms are mainly made up of silica. Fungi. So fungi are nothing but, as you all know what happened, they are not going to be included in any of the kingdom, so they have kept in a separate kingdom called as a fungi, that is fungus. These are heterotrophic eukaryotic organisms. Heterotrophs are those organisms which do not prepare their own food. You can see that is important here. That is, they use decay organic material as food and therefore called as saprophytes. So, what do you mean by a word saprophytes? Saprophytes are nothing but organism depends on dead and decaying organic matter. Then they are called as saprophytes. So, all the kind of a fungus, what happens, or a fungi, they are saprophytic organisms. You can see a wide variety of fungi. What happen, they are grown in which one? In a poor condition, or where humus is which is very more, and even the place which is very dirty, what happen, thereby you can see the presence of which one? That is fungi. Many of them have the capacity of becoming multicellular organism at certain stages of their life. They have cell walls made up of a tough complex sugar called chitin. Examples are yeast and even that is mushroom. Next thing we have classification of plants. Here the chart they have given, you can see that is how the plants, that is what happen, even in the plants we have a varieties, so they have given a chart here. The first thing we have to move for which one? That is thallophytes. Plants do not have well differentiated body design fall in this group. That is the first kind of plants to emerge in the earth are called as a thallophyte. These plants in these groups are called as algae. These plants are predominantly aquatic. Examples: Pyrogyra, Ulothrix, Cladophora and even Chara. These organism does not have a any kind of xylem or phloem, so it is a small body structure. So a small body structure, they are going to call it as a thallo. There is no specific organs which are present in this, and no differentiation, no organization of any kinds of cells in this algae. Spirogyra examples and even Chara they have given. Bryophytes, these are called amphibians of the plant kingdom. What do you mean by amphibians? Amphibians are nothing but which live both in land and water. They are going to call it as amphibian. The plant body is commonly differentiated to form stem and leaf, where you didn't find in which one? Thallophyta. However, there is no specialized tissue for the conduction of water and other substances from one part of plant to the another. Examples are moss, funaria, and marchantia. So we have already learnt about xylem and phloem. So xylem mainly helpful for the transportation of water and phloem helpful for the transportation of food. They are telling the thallophyta and the bryophyta. These are the five classes of plants where we didn't find any transportation because the body has not much differentiation and even no well organization in the body. The next thing we have, that is which one? Pteridophytes. And this is the first kind of a plants or first group of plants to possess a xylem and phloem, that is conducting tissues. In this group, the plant body is differentiated into root, stem, and leaves and has specialized tissues for the conduction of water and other substances from one part of the body to another. Some example are Marsilia, fern, and hostel. Thus, so what happens? Whatever may be the higher species of organisms, whatever we are having, are mainly because of pteridophytes. And pteridophytes are the first organisms to possess, that is conducting tissues, that is it may be water and even that is food. The next thing we have, that is gymnosperms. This term is made from Greek words gymno means naked and sperma means seed. The plant of this group bear naked seed and are usually perennial. Perennial are nothing but a long rooted one, evergreen and woody. Example are pines and yoda. You can see that is the cycas and even they have given pinus. These seeds have not covered with any of the outer coverings, then we are going to call it as which one? That is a naked seed. If you just see any kind of example, such as you can see mango or even apple or even other fruits, what happen, the seeds are enclosed by a soft material or even a hard shell. But in this kind, what happened, the seed does not have any outer covering. That's how what happened, these gymnosperms are called as naked seeds. Pine trees are located in areas of low temperatures like Himalaya, in India, and in the forest in Europe and America. They are coniferous forests. Angiosperms, whatever we are having the plants right now, and the wide variety of plants which found in an environment, it is mainly comes under the family, that is angiosperms. This word is made from two Greek words. Angio means covered and sperma means seeds, that is seeds are enclosed by outer covering. The seeds develop inside an organ which is modified to become a fruit. These are also called as flowering plants. Means the first kind of a plants to have flowers are nothing but angiosperms. Even in a gymnosperms we did not find any kind of a flowers. Plant embryos in seeds have structures called cotyledons. Cotyledons are called seed leaves because in many instances they emerge and become green when the seed germinate. Thus cotyledons present a bit pre-designed plant in the seed. The angiosperms are divided into two groups on the basis of number of cotyledons present in the seed. Plants with seeds having a single cotyledons are called monocotyledons or monocots. For example, you can say ragi or tender coconuts are all examples of which one? Monocotyledons. Plants with seeds having two cotyledons are called as dicots. That is dal. Means cotyledons means we can directly say if any of the seeds which is, when we are going to split, means if we are getting a equal halves, means then we are going to call it as it is a dicot. If we are going to split, means no equal distribution, means we are going to call it as a single cotyledon. Next thing we have to go for animalia. So far children we have learnt about, that is a classification of plant, that is what are the classifications, since you have to remember, that is one is which one, that is thallophyta, bryophyta, pteridophytes, angiosperms, and even that is gymnosperms. So next we have to move on to which one, that is animalia. These are organisms which are eukaryotic, multicellular, and heterotrophic. These cells do not have cell walls. Most animals are mobile, that is they are going to move from one another. The first one, Here in this one we are going to have a number of phylums. The first one we have to learn about which one, that is porifera. The word porifera means organisms with the holes. You can see in the picture there are number of holes. These are non-motile these are non-motile organisms to some solid support. These are holes or pores all over the body. These lead, that is, the poles lead to the canal system that helps in circulating water throughout the body to bringing in food and oxygen. These animals are covered with the hard outside layer or skeleton. The body design involves very minimal differentiation and division into tissues. They are commonly called as sponges and are mainly found in a marine habitat. That is, they are attached to any other substances, rocky substances they will be attached, and even to the other organisms also what happen, they will be attached. Examples here: cycon, spongilla and Euplectella. Here the word why they have given porifera or sponges because there is no presence of a seen skeletons inside here. Only instead of skeleton what happen, a spicules are present. Spicules are also made up of mainly calcium carbonate. That is, spicules are nothing but thorns like structure which are present. And porifera, the word porifera refers to the holes which are present in those. And the next phylum we have to move for which one, that is Coleonterata or Nidaria. These are also animals living in water. They show more body design differentiation. There is a cavity in the body. The body is made up of two layers of cell. One makes one makes up one makes up cells on the outside of the body and the other makes the inner lining of the body. That is two layered, you can say. Some of these species live in colonies while others live in a solitary like span, that is hydra, jelly and sea anemones are common examples. The next thing we have, that is platyhelminthes. The body of animals in this group is far more complexly designed than in other two groups we have considered so far. The body is bilaterally symmetrical. That is, bilaterally symmetrical means what? The left and right halves of the body have the same design. That is, if you cut an organism into the middle half, if you are going to cut, means what happens, the body is going to split into exactly two halves. These are three layers of cells from which differentiated tissues can be made. That is, the tissues which are present here, that is, we can say the outer ectoderm and inner mesoderm, and the last one we will be having endoderm. So ectoderm, mesoderm and even endoderm, that is why they are going to call it as three layers here. That is why they are going to call it a triploblastic. This allows outside and inside body linings as well as some organs to be made. That is, inside these organisms, these are the first kind of organisms to have certain primitive organs. There is some degree of tissue formation. So far we did not come across with any tissue, only the layer we have come across. However, there is no true internal body cavity or coelom in which well developed organ can be accommodated. The body is flattened dorsiventrally, meaning from top to bottom, which is why these animals are flatworms. They are either free living or parasitic. What do you mean by a word free living and parasitic? Free living organism which does not depend on other organisms for the food. And what do you mean by the word parasitic? Means these organisms are going to get food from the other organisms. That is why what happens, we are going to consume the deworm tablets to remove all these kinds of organisms from our body. Children, just imagine the government is supplying which one, that is albendazole tablet, isn't it? If you are going to consume these number of tablets, means what happens automatically, a platyhelminthes it may be or other forms of organisms which are harmful for our body, what happens, it can be easily eliminated. Thus, so what we must do, we must consume at least twice in a year, that is are types of tablet which are going to eliminate the worms. Platyhelminthes examples you can see, that is planaria, liver fluke and even tapeworm. Tapeworm you might have heard many more, no? So must have the number of tablets to eliminate, otherwise we will become weak, isn't it?